They would drive him out of the bedroom with a broom and a moment later find him in the kitchen. He seemed to be in so many places at the same time that they grew to think that he would be duplicated, that he was reproducing himself all through the house, and the exasperated and unhinged Elisenda shouted that it was awful living in that hell full of angels. So again, the lines are presented in the most humorous manner by the writer, and even though it is so much full of irony and sarcasm at the unkindful dealings which is meted out at the angel, the writer describes how much the human couple have become ignorant to understand the grandeur of the angel, and how much they are disrespectful and unkindful towards the angel who had been the source of their prosperity and well-being. So the ingratitude of the human couple is what the writer describes here. So they don't want to give attention, or they don't have no space for the angel in their hearts or in their home now. And the angel, poor angel, it is literally just wandering all over the house in search of a proper space for him. Unfortunately, he is not getting any space at all in that mansion which has been constructed by his blessing. He could scarcely eat, and his antiquarian eyes had also become so foggy that he went about bumping into the posts. All he had left were the bare cannuli of his last feathers. Pelayo threw a blanket over him and extended him the charity of letting him sleep in the shed, and only then did they notice that he had a temperature at night and was delirious with the tongue twisters of an old Norwegian. So again, the sufferings of the angel, and how much it is lonely in the household, and how less it is cared for by the couple is described. And at one point of time, the angel is so much old now that it cannot even see things properly, and naturally it is getting bumped into the post and causing injuries on himself. And the human couple, they are so annoyed with the angel that they somehow put a space for him in the nearby shed. And on one night, Pelayo is kind enough to throw a blanket over him, and he is extending more charity by providing a space for him in the shed. And Pelayo noticed the angel had a temperature at night, and he was delirious and tired during the night, which caught the attention of the couple. So for the first time, they noticed, and they started expressing more care towards the angel when he developed temperature. And that again is inviting the attention of the couple, since they did not want the angel to die, because they did not know what to do with a dead angel. So again, the selfishness of the human couple is described here. So even though they had no interest to attend to the living angel, they were afraid of a dead angel. They did not know how to care for and attend to a dead angel. So that again shows the extent of their selfishness. It was one of the few times they became alarmed, for they thought he was going to die, and not even the wise neighbor woman had been able to tell them what to do with the dead angels. So again, the writer speaks about the reason why they are so much full of panic, because they did not know how to care for a dead angel. And the selfishness of the couple is described. And yet, he not only survived his worst winter, but seemed improved with the first sunny days. He remained motionless for several days in the farthest corner of the courtyard where no one could see him, and at the beginning of December some large stiff feathers began to grow on his wings, the feathers of a scarecrow, which looked more like another misfortune of decrepitude. So here these lines again describe the loneliness suffered by the angel and how much it was ignored by the couple, and the angel was not at all cared well by the couple. So we find here the angel getting prepared for a new phase of his life, and we find the kind of preparation taken by the angel while he was hibernating during winter. So the human couple, they did not notice the changes, and they did not have any time for the angel too during that time while he was preparing for his journey back to heaven. But he must have known the reason for those changes, for he was quite careful that no one could notice them, that no one could hear the sea shanties that he sometimes sang under the stars. So again, the lines speak again about the preparation. Can be the spiritual preparations taken by the angel in order to fly back to heaven. So it's told that the angel sang sea shanties. Sea shanties, they mean the maritime work songs sung by the mariners. So here the angel is supposed to be singing hymns or shanties in order to make him equipped to be ready for his flight back to heaven. So it can be the preparatory time for the angel to return to his heavenly abode. One morning, Elisanda was cutting some bunches of onions for lunch when a wind that seemed to come from the high seas blew into the kitchen. Then she went to the window and caught the angel in his first attempts at flight. They were so clumsy that his fingernails opened a furrow in the vegetable patch, and he was on the point of knocking the shed down with the ungainly flapping that slipped on the light and could not get a grip on the air. So these lines again describes the first attempt of the angel to make its flight after a long period of time. So on one morning, Elisanda was so much surprised by this phenomenal sight of the angel making an attempt to make his first flight after years. So it has caught her attention when she was disturbed by a sudden gale that got into the kitchen from the nearby coastal region. So she was so much surprised by the sudden gale that disturbed her, and out of that curiosity she went and looked out through the window and saw the phenomenal sight of the angel preparing for his first flight after years. So the attempt was so clumsy and attempt was so frantic that it even damaged the shed which was his own enclosure till then. So here we could find how much he is desperate to leave the enclosure and leave the human presence to be one with his heavenly companions. But he did manage to gain altitude. Elisanda let out a sigh of relief for herself and for him. When she watched him pass over the last houses, holding himself up in some way with the risky flapping of a senile vulture. She kept watching him even when she was through cutting the onions, and she kept on watching until it was no longer possible for her to see him, because then he was no longer an annoyance in her life but an imaginary dot on the horizon of the sea. The story ends definitely on a poignant note, since the angel is departing from human abode to his heavenly abode forever. And the irony of the story is the human couple, especially Elisanda, does not understand or recognize the loss that she suffers. She does not understand the worth and the importance of the angel who resided with them till then. And she is indeed heaving a sigh of relief when she notices that the angel is making an attempt to fly off from their residence. So that again is reflecting on the ignorance of human beings in respecting and understanding the presence of supernatural being, mystical beings in our lives. Thank you.